Welcome everybody to Two Drunk Dudes in a Gun Room.
Brought to you by Savaya Army Entertainment.
Hey, this is Don.
And Doug.
Hey, so today, man, we want to talk about a special day that we had last week. We got the opportunity to sit down with a veteran that goes all the way back to the 50s, 1955, 54. Those are kind of areas that he was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was actually, well, so according to him, which was funny, we need to get him on the podcast because he was just like, so he joined the National Guard.
Didn't like it.
I'm not even sure what his MOS was, right? So
he was a tanker.
So like he couldn't shoot, and he hated the M1 carbine because it was 9.5 pounds.
Yeah.
I got it. It's heavy, right? So he didn't like it. So he then went to, said, a Sherman tank.
Yeah.
Was it a Sherman tank?
Yep, that's what he was in.
A Sherman tank driver.
Yep.
And he's just like, fuck it, I don't want to shoot that son of a bitch. So I volunteered to be a Sherman tank driver. Right. So it's just like, well, that's pretty fucking cool. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
I didn't get to drive a fucking Sherman tank. Well, and he went on. He's like, oh, but that got boring. Right. So he joined the Navy.
Yeah.
And he said his first boat was an O-boat.
An O-boat.
An O-boat.
Yeah.
What did he say about the O-boat though? I can't remember.
It didn't have. They only had a limited supply of fresh water because they couldn't make their own fresh water.
They couldn't shower.
Yeah. So there was no showers
on the O-boat.
Right.
And then finally he went to the U-boats after that. Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he was happy because then he could shower.
He was just like fucking happy as fuck.
You notice he didn't talk anything about the sleeping arrangements.
I tried to bring it up, and he kind of just like ignored me. Kind of. Yeah. I love stories, man. I love the stories, especially during the World War II time, or the Korean War, or the fucking Vietnam for that matter.
Oh yeah.
I love all those stories. I'll sit down and just fucking listen to them. But for this dude to open up his house and his fucking weapons to us
his ammo.
And his ammo was just amazing, right? Yep. I could not believe when Randy fucking brought that shit up saying, hey, do you want to shoot an M1 carbine? He's got two of them. Just come over, he'll let you shoot them. I was like, bullshit, motherfucker, whatever. We're gonna go over there, I'm gonna stroke it, and then fucking just like have to go home and finish it. I mean, it's just like bullshit. And then we went over there and what we do?
Oh man, he brought guns out non-stop. We started out, I mean, we went straight to your dream and fired the M1 Grande.
So so he brought out actually, so during this trip, right? So this Rob brings out the M1 Grande, but the 30-06 M1 Grande.
Yep. And
then he brought out the Quigley rifle, and then he brought out the Henry 4570. And then they brought, I can't remember
what 1873 4575.
1873. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I was just speechless. Like, you know what I wanted to shoot.
Yeah.
I mean,
I didn't even know. I mean, I've never fired a Quigley, but after firing that, I immediately went home and started
pricing.
Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely. Did you find any?
I did. I found a few.
Did you really?
Yeah.
How much?
Depends on who owns it. there were some that have sold all the way up for damn near 10 grand.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, but there were like movie stars that owned
it. So if we start talking about so let's talk about the trip though, right?
Okay.
So the question was at the beginning, what do you want to shoot first, right? So you said what? Oh, we know what you want to fucking shoot, right? Yep. So we grabbed the M1 and I sat down and we were doing what, 3 rounds a piece, I think, or whatever. We really didn't want to spend too much of this dude's ammo, right?
Right.
So we set up the target down range, right? It's full of fucking stick or branches and stones, right?
Yep.
And so we set up the target down there, and then we started shooting, right? And man, I tell you, so the M1, right? So if you think about that, man, that was like designed back in like the 1930s by fucking I can't remember the dude's name. I think it was Jerry Grand. It was something J. Grand. And so this guy designed that weapon, and it was actually in production for like or like in use in production from like 1930s to 1958, around 1958, I think. There was like 5 million, there was 5.5 million guns made.
Well, this particular one was a Springfield Armory,
Right.
who made it, and he said it was manufactured in 1942.
1942, exactly. I mean that still fits the timeline of when these were actually made. And what was cool about this was that it was in awesome condition.
He even had like somebody's initials still on the
somebody's initials. I think it was like KEB was like scribed into the side of it.
Yeah.
And like it was still, though, the body of this gun was amazing, right? So I'm not, sure, or he said he got it from Italy too, right?
Yeah.
So he said he got it from Italy. But you think about it, I mean, you talk about a gun that's like 9.5 pounds. And iron sights that were sighted in by somebody else. We were actually hitting the fucking center.
Yeah. It was hitting center mass.
When we shot that fucking gun every time. And even the pling, we got to hear the pling, pling every time, right? So I mean, it was an amazing gun. Didn't kick that hard or nothing, right?
It was a well put. The one thing that after shooting it, I just stood there while y'all were talking and just going through my head, man. Can you imagine? There you are in a trench, being overran, and you're firing this heavy ass gun for your life. And what were those clips like? 8 rounds?
8 rounds.
Yeah. So you got an 8-round clip that takes both of your hands and your hand off the trigger to load. Can you just imagine what went through these guys' minds in combat?
I'm hoping that they had a bunch of those fucking clips preloaded on them.
Well, yeah, but
that's what I'm hoping.
Even you're having to pull back, push it all the way in, try to not get your finger jammed, when it slams forward. I mean, man.
No, absolutely, dude. So, like, I don't know if it was all of them, but you had to fucking force that motherfucker down there.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what was making me think, you're already, I mean, I know what it was like with the M4, and combat, and to cut me from 30 rounds down to 8 and and give me some sort of Rubik's Cube to load.
I really didn't think about it that way, though. But even like some of the snipers back in World War II had the M1 car or M1 Grande.
I could see that being a good sniper rifle.
I was trying to look on the M1 Grande. I'm like, I haven't dealt with the older weapons, so it's just like, how the fuck would you mount a fucking scope to that bitch? I really couldn't see where you would mount.
I mean, I did see, the bayonet mounts still to the bottom. I was thinking it was to the top, but when I was looking at it, you can see where the slide is for where the bayonet slides into.
Yeah. So I wish you had the bayonet. That would have been a complete package, right?
Oh yeah.
I didn't see if the serial numbers match, so but I wasn't gonna tear the dude's gun apart. I wasn't gonna do that. Yeah. But I mean, I'm sure it does though. But that was cool having the initials scribed on there though. I mean, there's so much history about that day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I mean, after that, I mean, they brought out that the 45.
Yeah. That he said he's never fired.
Yeah, no.
He brought it out in a case.
Brought it out in a
case. I've never fired it. Go and fire it.
No, but he had to cut the tag off still.
Yeah.
Like I bought this from blah blah blah. And he's cutting it. He got a knife, and I was like, "Yeah, I got a knife." And I gave him my knife, and he cuts off the fucking tag, right? And I'm like, "All right, what?" He's like, "This is from World War II." And I was like, "No, bullshit. It's
Yeah.
1911. It ain't from fucking World War II."
Original 1911, stamped right on the side.
Yeah,
U.S. Army issue.
yeah.
Or standard U.S. Army issue.
If you guys don't believe us, right? Go to our Facebook page. The videos of this shit is on there, right? And I just could not believe, I mean, you shot it or I shot it, then you shot it, and then Randy couldn't shoot it for some fucking reason. It wouldn't work.
That's something to do with the casings.
Oh, I'm sure it had to do something with it wasn't lubed before it was shot.
Yeah. It was lubed afterwards.
Well, yeah, he
Man, they
lubed the
soaked
fuck
it in
out of that thing after. But anyway, it shot good though.
Oh yeah,
My
I mean,
Lord.
we were hitting cans off string.
I was like, what the fuck, man? So, I mean, there ain't much to besides it, you're looking at it in the history and just knowing that, dude, somebody carried this as a sidearm in World War II.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy, right?
Yeah.
And it was a flat gray color. It had no shine to it whatsoever. I mean, it was just,
and it was immaculate,
dude. It was amazing.
I mean, I don't think that gun was ever used. I really don't.
I could not fucking believe it. And then he brings out, he's like, "Oh, I got another World War II gun. I got a fucking what do you say, 8mm Mauser."
What the Germans carried.
It's like, what the Germans carried? What the fuck?
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, I want to see this gun. You know?
Oh yeah.
So
unfortunately, my shoulder said we had to fire it too.
So when we were shooting this gun, right? We shot the M1, we shot the 45, we shot the Quigley rifle, we shot the 75-45, and we shot a Henry 75-40, right?
45-70.
45-70. I'm sorry. And so we shot all these guns, and then all of a sudden he brings out this fucking 8mm Mauser. So of course I sit down first and fucking load it. Remember?
Yeah.
I shot that fucking thing, and I looked at you and I said, "Dude, this wins the fucking kick. Fucking no, dude, this fucking wins the kickoff because."
Oh yeah. After I fired it, I seen why the Germans lost.
Kick, dude. I shot it 3 times. I handed it off to you.
Yep.
And I remember you just started laughing after the first round. You're just like, "What the fuck?" Because I said, I know why. After my first shot, I said that. I was like, I know why the Germans lost now.
Yeah. Dude, I'm telling you, I fired it just like I would any other gun. I put my cheek right up against the stock.
Yeah.
Right. When I pulled that trigger, I thought Mike Tyson hit me. Dude, I had a concussion. The next 2 rounds, I did not put my chin up against that damn thing. I was like, man, I ain't been hit like that since I was boxing.
I mean, that son of a bitch would pull your cheek back.
Oh
man.
yeah.
I mean, it was unreal. The kick on that 8mm, I could not fucking believe it.
But I'm gonna tell you, it loaded a hell of a lot better.
Well, so we had to single feed that one
because he didn't have a magazine. Yeah.
What the magazine though? So the 8mm Mauser is fed by the old stripper clips.
Right. Yep.
He didn't have no. Well, he said he has some stripper clips somewhere. I wasn't gonna have him go get them.
Right.
But it's weird that it's fed by stripper clips. You see movies about Germans and shit. They ain't running around with fucking stripper clips.
No, because in all the movies I've seen, they were dying.
Well, that too. I mean, they were dying in World War II anyway. So, but yeah, we single fed it. So
yeah,
but we had to push it down every fucking time we wanted to shoot it. But they still kick like a fucking mule.
Yeah.
So that one out of all of them, I don't care what anybody says. That 8mm Mauser, they can have it.
Yeah. I
know, like you talk about like the M1. I forgot what it was. General Patton loved the fucking M1. He's like, this is the best weapon ever introduced to fucking war.
And you know what's crazy, man? Look where we've gone to. We went from all wood stocks and hand grips to plastic. You
No,
know,
absolutely.
those things were solid, man. I mean, solid.
Yeah. So, no matter, like when I was a first sergeant, all my armors would be, I'd be like, what the fuck, dude? Why ain't these fucking weapons ready and shit? But the infantry, man, they would bring back some fucked up M4s, man, that
Yeah.
they could not fire no more. Whether the barrel's bent, the fucking plastic busted, this, that, the other. I used to be like, what the fuck, man? Why is your turnaround so bad? And they would explain it to me. I'm like, they use this motherfucker as a pry bar?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, I've seen a lot of shit, and I don't get me wrong, I don't blame any of them. I mean, there's no telling what you got to fucking use that gun for,
Yeah.
So, but I mean, obviously, the number one thing is to kill people, but there's no telling. So, like, we're just there to fix the shit and put it back out there. But I mean, it
Yeah.
ain't. I don't think they had those issues back when it was fucking solid fucking wood.
Well, no, and you think about too, the mentality of the soldier was different, back then, they were balling told. They didn't just say wake up one day and say, I think I'm gonna go in the military. And they were forced as with a draft, So
In World War II, was it a draft?
yeah,
It was a
yeah.
draft.
As a matter of fact, that's when the draft started.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, you know, it was it they were still forced in, but they had the whole country behind them.
Oh yeah.
So these weapons, these manufacturers, because there was how many manufacturers? Like everybody, you know, tractor companies was helping to make guns, but you can tell when you held that gun that it wasn't just a mass, let's get as many of these out and make as much money as we could like it is today.
Yeah.
They built these knowing that somebody on the other end is going to use this to hopefully return back home.
Yeah.
And you could just tell the difference between the quality of what the way they were put together.
Oh yeah. I mean, so like the one we shot, the 30-06 M1 from 40, was it 43?
42,
42. What I mean, it was solid wood and stuff. I mean, it was just immaculate. I mean, he's like, oh, I got 308 that's better shaped than this. I was like, how can you get better shape than this?
Especially
42.
Yeah, I mean, but the other thing too is he said the other one was from 50 something, 53, 55, something like that.
Yeah.
So it didn't even go through combat. I mean, I think if I'm not mistaken, the World Wars was over with, in the 40s.
What? Yeah, it might have went through the Korean War though.
It could have.
It could have.
Yeah.
Right.
It could have.
I mean, there's no telling because he's part of that gun club where he picked them up and stuff. So there's really it don't come with the lineage. You're like, hey, this came from here, blah, blah, blah. This is more like this is the M1, shipped it from Italy, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But I mean, you think about it and it's like, so if there was 5.4 million built, it's like, how many were destroyed? How many were buried? How many are still in the ground, out of that 5.4? And it's just like, I mean, just to have one. So back then they were only like $85 a piece, and you figure today's price would be anywhere from what, like 13 to maybe 18.
I seen them. They're running between 18 and 25.
Yeah, and then I see some that people are trying to make up and shit out of plastic and stuff and say these are authentic. They're not authentic.
They're authentic bullshit.
Yeah, and they still want 1,300 for them and shit. And it's just like, nah, it ain't the same.
No,
right?
You're paying for that history.
I think when he started talking about when he joined the National Guard and when, like what he did, and then I didn't like it. I went to the O-boats and the U-boats. I was just like, fuck, we didn't even want to shoot no more.
No, we just sat there and listened.
And then he broke out the Michelob fucking Amberbach, and he's just like, we're just like, oh, it's beer time. So
yeah,
we can sit there and listen to anybody, right? And just his stories about this shit was just crazy. Like, what did he say about the oboes? Oh, we didn't have no weapons on the oboes.
Yeah.
Loved it when I went to the U-boats. We had weapons and we had showers.
Yeah.
Is what it said, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Rob was a good guy.
And then he said he was on the boat. One of the boats that he was on was designed to rescue sunken submarines.
Sunken submarines.
He's like, yeah, we never did. He said they're always too deep. We can only go like 200 feet down to with our cranes to grab them.
I mean, that's terrible, but I mean, that's funny and terrible.
Just the way he said it, was funny.
Yeah. No, I mean, so for him to open up his house to us and just like say, hey, don't worry about spending, and then we shoot the ammo, and then he's like you don't want to shoot more? Just like, no, bro, this is your stuff,
that you're already having to reload because you can't find it,
Oh yeah, what did he say he couldn't find though?
I don't remember which one it was.
It was one of them, but it absolutely was a good time, and I'm sure me and you are gonna show up back at his house with some beer. We'll show up with beer this time. We didn't show up last time with beer, so we'll show up with beer and see what other historic items he might have for us to shoot there.
Yeah,
I mean, he was a good guy, man.
He'll
probably do a podcast with us if we kind of ask him, but it won't be at his house. But I mean, we'll do one outside with him.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But I mean, it was like a Make-A-Wish Foundation thing for me. I mean, Randy said, "Oh, he's got some M1s, and that's all I've wanted to shoot for years." I got to shoot that M1, and I'm happy now, dude. I could die tomorrow and still be happy.
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen.
I'm just saying.
There is other stuff we need to shoot. Well, everybody knows, at the end of this, what we get to. We try to feed you some lies and some laughs, and we hope you stick around long enough to hear. If you need some help, or somebody that needs some help, the suicide prevention number, real easy, 988 extension 1 if you're a veteran. If not, stay on the line. There will be somebody there to help you. If you're to that point and you don't want to go through the VA or the suicide hotline, reach out to Chief Rathburn's leavingthesideline.org. It is a great place. They're located on the West Coast, but you can reach them through Facebook, Messenger, through the phone, TikTok. You don't have to be on the West Coast to receive some help. There's
East Coast, there's she's the veteran. So with that is led by our Brooke Jackson. Brooke Jackson has plenty of things for the female veterans on the East Coast to kind of gather and take away from the daily stuff that you always deal with as a female. So I mean, so it's pretty much based off of the PTSD or mental health problem,
TBI.
I mean, she has put together a great organization. They just did a fishing trip like a week ago, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually had a good showing for that fishing trip. So I mean, look her up. I mean, it'll take your mind off of everything and put you back with a bunch of veterans. So it's a great organization.
If you're in Missouri or in the surrounding area, September 10th, MoVet Outdoors is sponsoring a concert. It's got 2 veteran musicians that will be performing. The host is a veteran stand-up comedian. It's $25 to get in if you are a civilian. It's $5 to get in if you're a vet. They will be raffling off a signed guitar from Aerosmith. You have to be present to win. Their program in Missouri is idea is to get vets outside, get them outdoors, hunting, fishing,
camping.
Those, put them with like-minded veterans so that they reach out and they have more people to talk to when they need help. All the trips are guided. You know, they'll help you with whatever you need. And it's covered by them. You just have to get there.
Yep.
You
That's
know,
it. That's it.
it's a great program. You can find them on Facebook, Mo Vets Outdoors.
Hey, if you show up to Vetapalooza, just make sure you find us. We will be there at Vetapalooza. You possibly, if you bring us up, you might possibly get a guest beer from us. We never know.
Yep.
So
I'd say the odds are in your favor.
odds, what, my favor or
Their favor.
Oh, their favor.
Yep.
We will be there though, so we will see you there.
We'll be going live there, probably several times throughout the day.
Probably.
Yep.
You will. I won't. I'll probably be fucked up, but
Hence the name.
we'll see. We'll see.
But if you need to reach out, you can always reach out to us. Savahe Army, or support at savahearmy.com is our email. You can reach out to us through Messenger on either Facebook page, Two Drunk Dudes in a Gun Room,
Facebook,
Instagram, or Savahe Army.
official.
No, Facebook for
Facebook,
either one of those Facebook pages. Yes, if you add the word official to Savahe Army, then you'll find us on TikTok and YouTube. So there's tons of ways to reach us. We hope you guys enjoy the shows and download them. Thanks for listening.